It's all hands on deck in this one as we navigate through the minefield, also known as Yellow Bank, full of bombies. It was otherwise calm conditions as we sailed 50 miles offshore from the Exumas up to Eleuthera. We had spent the previous night on anchor at Highbourne Cay. Well, I messed up last night. I should have filmed it this morning while I was dealing with it, but I couldn't figure it out until just now. So I came out this morning and the dinghy was absolutely full of water. So I came out to take the dogs to the beach and the dinghy was just full of water. Like you can see the high water line right there. And so I was trying to figure out, like, why was it full of water? Like the plug was in. I don't know why this bilge pump is not set to automatic. I've been meaning to check into it, see if there's just a switch on there to set it to automatic, but the bilge pump didn't pump the water out. It ended up filling up with water and couldn't figure out why, you know. I thought maybe I checked the bilges because I had the boat dinghy tied up on the side of the boat, you know, where the bilge pump outlets are, but they're right at the water line. There's no way that would have filled this up. And so I'm just sitting in here and like nothing works on the dinghy. Well, the motor will go up and down and the motor will start and all that, but like none of the electrical system, like the lighting and all that in here works because water got in here. You can see the high water line there too. And then over here, you know, that's the fuse block for all the, I pulled the fuses out already. Here's all the fuses right here. They're all corroded already because, you know, it was salt water that was in there, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. And then I realized we were running the generator last night and it was so hot, since I needed to charge the battery, so I ran the generator, and I realized it was so hot that I ran the air conditioner. And so I had the dinghy tied up on the side of the boat where how a marine air conditioner works is it takes seawater and it cools off the condenser to cool off the freon, and then it, the freon continues to the expansion chamber, cools off, and then it repeats the cycle. Well, the problem is that it uses seawater, so it takes seawater, cools it off, and then ejects the hot seawater over the boat. And I happened to tie up the dinghy right next to the outlet for that air conditioner, and so it filled up the boat with water. And you know, now I gotta like rebuild the electrical panel in this thing. So my mistake. So I pulled the fuses out. You know, it's salt water, right? So the salt water and electricity corrodes things very quickly, which is why like stray currents and all that can be really bad on your boat. Yeah, add a little bit of electricity and salt, and then it corrodes whatever. So yeah, now I pulled the fuses out. I got some fresh water, and I'm gonna pour it over that fuse block and like scrub it with a brush, and maybe get as much of the salt and stuff out of there. And maybe if I just get new fuses and put them in there, it'll still work. So we'll see. We're towing the dinghy today, so I'll just let all that dry out, and I'll stick some fuses in it when we get there and see if I can get stuff to come on. It's not the end of the world. Like if it doesn't work, I just got to get a new terminal block and like a fuse block and all that and redo everything. It's not, I mean, it'll take me an hour, right? But that finding the part is the hard issue. Let's get moving. We got about 50 miles to go today. We're going from here, which is Highbourne Cay, up to Spanish Wells, which is about 50 miles. So I figure it'll take about 8-9 hours to get up there. And since their leashes were submerged in salt water, you know, these little, you know, metal hooks there aren't the greatest. They corrode. You can already see the corrosion on there just from being in the salt environment, and then connecting them when they're salty. But I'm gonna rinse them off with fresh water and then spray some WD-40 on there to keep them from corroding. You didn't finish your vodka coconut water.
Oh God, I don't even want to think about that. Oh God, no.
It's gonna make you sick?
No, I don't want to hear the dog.
Somebody had fun last night. Got a little overserved.
I was awesome last night.
She was awesome. She was great. All right, I'm gonna get the boat moving.
Save some face. You know you've only got
There wasn't much wind, less than 5 knots, so it made pulling up the anchor fairly easy.
while you're young.
So it's pretty easy to pull the anchor up as long as there's not too much wind by yourself. What you want to do is like pull it in and then let the weight of the anchor chain pull you forward, and then pull it in more. You don't actually want to pull the boat with the windlass, you just want to pick it up. If there's too much wind, it's hard to do because the boat won't get momentum going forward.
One day you'll be a man.
Unfortunately, the chain castled right as the anchor was reaching the waterline. It castled, so I gotta go downstairs, clear the castle real quick, and I'll come finish it. There's nobody around, so it's not a big deal. I guess I should probably take more of that road out to give me more clearance in there for the chain. Castling is when the chain piles up on itself and it doesn't allow any more room for chain to enter the chain locker. I just knocked the chain over. No big deal. So that is our 110-pound Mantis Marine M2. Holds pretty good. Check them out. They're a sponsor of ours, so they got all kinds of stuff on their dive compressor here. We haven't used it yet. I don't even know if we will. Maybe we will in the Abacos or something. But, and then they got other stuff too. And they have dinghies and all kinds of gear. Pretty cool. Bridles, all that stuff. Thank you, Mantis Marine. There wasn't enough wind to sail, so we were motoring. I'm approaching the yellow bank, and the problem is there's a lot of coral heads. Luckily it's high tide, so we got like 2.5 feet of tide, so that'll help us. But, you know, the yellow bank is just hundreds, if not 1,000 or more coral heads. And normally, you know, it's kind of a clear, like sandy bottom or bluish, light blue bottom, but it's really green. There must be a lot of like, I don't know, algae or grass or something, but it makes it hard to tell the difference between, you know, normally if it's a light blue, you can see the dark coral heads like from a mile away. Now it's a lot harder to see them. We're not quite into the coral head field yet, but like I'm a little concerned because I've been through before and you can see them a mile away, but like when it's greenish water like this, you can't really see them at all. I don't know how accurate these little coral heads are here on the chart, but I'm gonna try weaving my way through on this. So at least the water's starting to kind of brighten up a little bit now as we're getting deeper into the coral head minefield. So they're getting a little easier to see, which is nice. I thought about putting the drone up. I still might. If you got the technology, why not use it? My drone can stay up in the air for almost 40 minutes, so I took advantage of that, and it really helped me to dodge the Bombies. I can plan my route pretty well in advance around the coral heads. In case you ever wondered how I launch and catch the drone from a moving boat, I do it by hand. Someone's back in uniform.
I'd live in a bikini if I could.
I'm all for it. You can live in a bikini. How you feeling?
A little better. Okay. I'll be all right.
Cool.
What is that saying? Like you're so fabulous last night or something like that? It's hard to be fabulous today.
All right, so we're pretty much, there's a couple more out here, but they're really easy to see because the water's gotten a lot brighter, a lot clearer. I guess maybe the bottom's a little more sandy now. So we're pretty much through. So now we got, I don't even know, I gotta look how many miles to go, but I think we're about halfway there. So maybe something close to that. Maybe not quite halfway, but on our way. All right, I was planning to varnish the teak, but I've decided I'm just gonna oil it instead. It's a lot more simple. Like once a month, you oil it. It takes 30 minutes to oil the whole thing, and it looks pretty good. You don't have to sand it. You don't have to like strip it and then varnish it and all that. So I'm just gonna oil it and then keep that up, and I think it'll look pretty good. Oiling is a lot less work compared to varnish, and I think it looks pretty good compared to the natural look. All right, well, I'm pretty pleased how it looks there. It's hot, and the problem is that we're going this way at 6.5 knots, and so is the wind, so there's like no wind out here, and it's like 80-something degrees, and I'm just sitting in the sun doing it, so I'm gonna do it. I'll do another coat like in the morning. I need to put another coat of oil on there just because it was so dry. I think going forward, if I just put one coat on a month, it'll be fine, but you know, it'll have a nice base oil layer of the teak oil, and then it'll be fine. But it looks really good. You can see it compared to the other side of the boat, which is just kind of natural, which doesn't look bad, but I think it looks a lot better oiled. So I got the oil from Total Boat. There is a discount code for 5% off, and you can have your teak looking good, no problem. So this other side, I need to sand it down to get to the bright wood, and then throw some on there, so shouldn't be too hard to do. And then for the bowsprit and all that stuff, I don't know. I might put some cleaner on there and then oil and just leave it natural, like kind of scuffed up. But all right, it's I believe it's beer 30. Time to drink something. I mean, I need some water first. The air was pretty stagnant on the boat. The apparent wind was 0. No wind out here, and it's hot. But we got about 8 or 9 miles to go to Spanish Wells. Be there in time for happy hour. We can go into the Wreckers. I don't know, take the dogs for a walk and then go into Wreckers for dinner or something. I'm liking the way my teak looks here. We arrived at Spanish Wells and it was time to drop anchor. There was no wind to push us backwards to play the chain out, so I went back to the helm and put it in reverse to give us backward momentum. All right, made it to Spanish Wells here. There's no real beach here, so gonna take the boys into town. We'll give them a walk in town, maybe find something a little bit there, and then we'll bring them back, because I mean, maybe we can try it, we'll see, but the restaurant generally doesn't allow dogs after 6 for dinner, so we'll bring them back, and then we'll come back in for dinner at Wreckers. Jennifer and I loaded up in the dinghy to head into town. It was about a 10-minute ride. All right, we already came in and brought the dogs for a nice walk. Really cool sandbar out there. How'd you like that sandbar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's a big one. So we took the dogs for a walk, dropped them off, came back, showered, and now we're headed into Wreckers, which is a fun little restaurant, and it's at the Spanish Wells Yacht Haven, which is cool, decent marina. So, see, Michael's the bartender. He's a good dude. He's from Costa Rica. The longest part of the dinghy ride was the no-wake zone inside Spanish Wells. We tied up to the dinghy dock at Spanish Yacht Haven and headed into the Wreckers Bar and Grill. The best bartender in the Bahamas, by the way. It's Michael.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. This is a great old fashioned. That's like, sometimes they make it too sweet. This is great. Please help me out and make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave a comment down below. I'll try to reply to all of them I can in the first 24 hours. And it's the Sailing Doodles Navy and patrons that makes this channel possible. They got early access to this video.